Reports question Trump's claim on Lebanon ceasefire, alleging Iran's Mojtaba played key behind-the-scenes role. Trump claimed credit for the pause, while sources suggested Iran remained the decisive force in negotiations. Mojtaba reportedly warned the US that Iran could withdraw from the truce if Israel struck Lebanon again. Within hours, Lebanese forces alleged Israel had already violated the ceasefire with strikes on villages. Trump urged Hezbollah to act nicely, even as conflicting reports raised claims of Israeli military misinformation. Amid a fragile Israel-Lebanon ceasefire, Iran asserted its own claim over the truce, deepening diplomatic tensions. Iranian Parliament Speaker Mohammad Bagher Ghalibaf claimed credit for securing the agreement in a post on X. He said the ceasefire was driven by Hezbollah's resilience and the unity of the axis of resistance. Ghalibaf reiterated that Tehran remained true to its word on all commitments tied to the agreement. He also emphasized that Iran and its regional allies played a decisive role in shaping the outcome. However, the United States and Israel said the truce was achieved through separate diplomatic channels with Lebanon. Tehran and Pakistani mediators maintained that Hezbollah was included in the earlier US-Iran understanding on April 7. Iran had also warned it could reconsider its truce with Washington if Israeli operations in Lebanon continued. President Donald Trump announced a 10-day ceasefire in Lebanon aimed at halting the ongoing conflict and reducing regional tensions. The agreement was followed by plans for an unprecedented meeting between Israeli and Lebanese leaders in Washington next week. Reports said the proposed talks would mark the first high-level Israel-Lebanon engagement in decades, according to The Guardian. Trump said the deal could support broader diplomatic efforts involving both the United States and Iran. The ceasefire officially took effect at midnight on April 17, with reports of celebrations in parts of Lebanon. Trump provided limited operational details, emphasizing only the timing and duration of the truce. He later told reporters that he might visit Lebanon at an appropriate time depending on developments on the ground. In a Truth Social post, Trump urged Hezbollah to act nicely and well during the ceasefire period. The situation remains closely monitored, with tensions still high despite the temporary pause in hostilities. Meanwhile, reports indicated that Israel continued heavy airstrikes targeting Iranian-backed Hezbollah positions in Lebanon. The 10-day truce formally began at midnight local time on April 17, raising cautious hopes for a temporary pause in cross-border hostilities after months of intense fighting. Just a few hours later, the Lebanese army accused Israel of violating the ceasefire agreement, reporting that the Israeli military had carried out new strikes in the south. The Lebanese army said that the Israel Defense Forces, or IDF, bombed several villages in the southern region, according to a report in the Times of Israel. The Lebanese military did not specify the exact scale of damage, but stressed that the situation on the ground remains tense and unstable. Lebanon's forces also urged civilians in the south not to return to their homes immediately, warning that the front line could quickly flare up again despite the declared truce. The advisory reflected broader concerns that the fighting could resume at any moment, even under the formal ceasefire framework announced by Washington. Around the same time, the IDF activated air raid sirens in parts of northern Israel, creating the impression that an incoming attack from Lebanon was underway. However, the Israeli military later clarified that the sirens had been triggered by a false detection system reading, not by an actual rocket launch. Warning sirens were heard in the northern Israeli community of Netuah, which lies close to the Lebanese border and has been repeatedly targeted during the conflict. Earlier, President Trump had announced the Israel-Lebanon ceasefire with considerable fanfare on April 16, portraying it as a major diplomatic breakthrough in the wider regional war.
I think they will. I think it's going to be, actually it's very exciting because it's 48 years. We're going to be meeting with Bibi Netanyahu, as you know, and the president of Lebanon. And I had a great talk with both of them today. They're going to be having a ceasefire, and that'll include Hezbollah. And I think it could be number 10 for me. Very exciting. With Lebanon, it's very exciting. I think we're going to have a deal where we're going to have a meeting, first time in 44 years, And Lebanon will be meeting with Israel, and they're probably going to do it at the White House.
When do you think, President, when do you think they will?
Over the next week or two.
Or the next Hezbollah
I think we will have an agreement between Lebanon, and they're going to take care of Hezbollah. But they're going to be working on Hezbollah right now. But we'll have an agreement between Israel, very importantly, and Lebanon. They're all agreeing. It's a very nice little package for about a week. And we're not going to have lots of bombs dropping. And we're going to see if we can make peace between Lebanon and Israel.
$25 करोड़ गरीब गरीबी को परास्त करके बाहर निकले।
For the good of our nation, let's work together and let's truly make America great again.
The fastest news breaks.
Requested PM saying that look, you will have to speak to Putin and to Zelensky.
The biggest news makers.
The relationship with India is probably the most important bilateral relationship the U.S. will have for the rest of this century.
The capital delivered quite an election result today.
Expert analysis.
The million-dollar question today is how to stop this dance of death.
Ground reports.
I'm standing at the crossroad of the Kumbh Mela. Behind me are more than 100 entry ghats.
Long-form interviews.
Exclusionary politics is reflected in Manipur case as well. You don't bother because this is a small state.
Deep dive into burning issues.
It's often said DRC could be the richest country in the whole world. It's because of what sits underneath.
Why exactly did the US topple the Sheikh Hasina government?
HD videos. We don't just break news, we break it down.
$25 करोड़ गरीब गरीबी को परास्त करके बाहर निकले।
For the good of our nation, let's work together and let's truly make America great again.
The fastest news breaks.
Requested PM saying that look, you will have to speak to Putin and to Zelensky.
The biggest news makers.
The relationship with India is probably the most important bilateral relationship the U.S. will have for the rest of this century.
The capital delivered quite an election result today.
Expert analysis.
The million-dollar question today is how to stop this dance of death.
Ground reports.
I'm standing at the crossroad of the Kumbh Mela. Behind me are more than 100 entry ghats.
Long-form interviews.
Exclusionary politics is reflected in Manipur case as well. You don't bother because this is a small state.
Deep dive into burning issues.
It's often said DRC could be the richest country in the whole world. It's because of what sits underneath.
Why exactly did the US topple the Sheikh Hasina government?
HD videos. We don't just break news, we break it down.